Even after 40 years in power, Libya's Colonel Gaddafi has some bold ambitions. His ideas for African unity involve the creation of a United States of Africa. As thousands of Africans continue to head north in search of a better life in Europe, he also has strong views on immigration. The Libyan leader is attending the G8 summit in Rome. Before leaving for Italy, he spoke to Euronews from Tripoli. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, welcome to Euronews. Let's speak about the recent African Union summit. The main theme was the question of poverty in Africa. You're going to Italy for the G8 summit, and it's the first time that an African and Arab leader has taken part in such an event. What message would you like to deliver to world leaders?
Firstly, this summit is not the first. There have been others too that have attempted to mark Africa's presence. Several declarations and recommendations concerning the African continent have come out of previous G8 summits, but unfortunately they were only declarations. Personally, I don't expect this summit to be any different from previous ones. I hope it will be, but I don't believe it.
Allow me to speak of Italy. You went there recently, and you received a formal welcome from the Italian authorities, including the Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. Can we say that a corner has been turned and that a new era of openness has begun between Libya and Italy?
Yes, I think so. And it's in both Italy and Libya's interests, as well as those of the Mediterranean basin, Europe, Africa, world peace and cooperation between states. We need to move on from this terrible past to open a new era of cooperation and friendship, to be able to apologize for what happened and compensate people who suffered from the colonial era. And that's what's happened. There have been apologies and compensation has been agreed upon. We can't do better than that.
But we noticed from your visit to Italy that you had attached to your lapel the photo of Omar al-Mokhtar, the Libyan national hero who was executed by Italian colonial authorities. That gesture was perceived as provocative. What did you mean by such a move?
That's for people to interpret as they wish. In Rome, journalists asked the same question, and I replied by saying, "And why do you wear the cross?" I even replied for them. I said that you and Christians in general wear the cross, believing that Christ died in a terrible way by being crucified. Even though he was the prophet of love, peace and mercy, and did not deserve as dreadful a death as crucifixion. That's why, as Christians, you commemorate and immortalize that event by wearing the cross. I said to the journalist who asked me the question, we think that Omar al-Mokhtar was killed terribly. He was executed by being hanged. He wasn't even shot, even though he fought for freedom, for the dignity of his country, for its independence in the face of a barbaric foreign invasion. That's why he merits our bearing his photo in the same way that you do the cross.
وعشان كده يستحقوا أيضا أن نعلق صورته كما تعلقون الصليب.
There's a problem that concerns not only Italy but Europe generally, and that's illegal immigration. Under an agreement, illegal immigrants should be repatriated to Libya. Only yesterday, Libya found itself taking back around 90 immigrants who'd arrived off the Italian coast. What do you do with those immigrants? Do you grant them asylum, or what exactly happens to them?
It's absolutely not a question of asylum. Asylum concerns a limited number of people for political reasons, or after a war or natural disasters.
But
we're faced with successive waves of immigration towards Europe because of the poverty which reigns in Africa. Africans believe that their wealth has been plundered. That's why they chase after riches. When they work in Europe, they think it's their right to do so, because Europe lives very well off African resources.
Colonel Gaddafi, when I was walking the streets of Tripoli yesterday, a slogan caught my attention, which said, "Wherever you go, happiness reigns." Do you really think that 40 years after the revolution, the Libyan people are happy?
First of all, I haven't seen those slogans, and I'm not responsible for them. Unlike you, I can't wander the streets freely taking time to read slogans. If I'm in the street, it's in the middle of an official convoy, so I have no knowledge of this slogan. But if that's the case, the people who thought up that slogan acted with good intentions. They think well of this government, and that gladdens me. I've done my best to make my people happy and free.
One last question. Today you bear the title of King of Kings in Africa. You're also the most senior of Arab leaders. You've written the Green Book on the subject of democracy, society and the economy. You've instigated major plans. What is there left for Colonel Gaddafi to do? Does he have other goals?
In truth, I hope that Arab unity will come about one way or another, especially as Arabs have been divided. In a world built around alliances and superpowers, they're reduced to simple pieces of paper, like feathers carried off by the wind. Perhaps Arabs are now ready for some Arab unity. I'll go even further. I hope to see the birth of an Arab-African Union.